So my name is Vova Galchenko. I am a juggler, at least in my past life. I still juggle quite a bit. For most of my juggling career, I'd say I'd practiced 6 days a week for maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. At this point, juggling is not my main focus in life, just because I have different priorities at this point. So I practice perhaps 1 or 2 times a week. What I do is I take 3 clubs and essentially alternate dwell times and alternate different sort of heights and spins. I mean, I'll start just by doing like a normal thing like that, and then I'll do like kind of lofty, slow singles, and then I'll do some like lofty triples, and then I'll alternate. I think I mentioned this, but I alternate dwell times. So I'll do like this one, where the dwell time is a little shorter. And then I'll do like flashes, and I'll do some 360s after that. So yeah, I guess to sort of summarize it all, what I do is alternate dwell times, alternate different heights and different amounts of spin, and then I'll do some like 360s to get my like heart rate up and sort of get like my blood flowing. I guess I could talk about like a sort of a general principle that I follow when I try to learn something. Basically what I do is figure out the basic components that make up a trick. Like suppose I wanted to learn like 3 club crash toes. Like I don't just go for it right away. I'll start by sort of decomposing the trick into like some basic components. I'll start like drilling, just like doing something like simplified version of it, then slowly kind of build up until I can just do the whole thing. But essentially I try to make sure to perfect the previous step before I go into the next one. And in that way, each minor milestone is not actually that much trouble to achieve, and you can kind of track your progress that way. Yeah, so that's sort of the general philosophy that I follow. There are some things, like I've tried to do different things about it, and I haven't really found the one that works all the time. Like there are some things that I can do all the time in practice, but for whatever reason, like when I'm in front of people, I just can't. And I don't know why. Even though I can like hit it, I can nail it every time in practice. It's like, I feel like there are some tricks where like I subconsciously rely on like the height of the ceiling, where like if I practice in one place all the time, I like get used to a certain kind of a ceiling, and then I'll go somewhere else and it's just like completely throwing me like a different kind of ceiling. I don't know why that is. So yeah, to answer your question, I haven't really figured it out. One thing, like one technique that I used with some success is to basically take tricks that I can do without any warm-up and nail it every time without warm-up. That's a pretty good sign that I can do it pretty much under any circumstance, and so I'll usually add those to the show. I think the approach of like breaking down the moves that you're trying to learn into the simplest components and sort of taking it one milestone at a time, I think that's a productive way to do it, and I think it's a sort of an efficient way to do it. So I would recommend that. I would also recommend just general consistency about practicing. I mean, I found that when I practiced every day, even if it's not a long time, even if it's just like a half an hour, it helps to do that versus, let's say, not practicing all week and then doing like once a week doing like 4 hours. All of this is kind of anecdotal. I am not like a scientist of any sort, so this is just kind of anecdotally what seems to have worked for me. Those are the 2 things I would recommend. So be consistent about things and break things down into small or kind of milestones that you achieve one at a time. If you just Google my name, I think there's a lot of stuff that comes up. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
That's really awesome. Appreciate it.
Yep.